Welcome, everyone. Welcome, Vice Mayor Kay, and welcome to our council members. We have Councilmember Fred Brown, Councilmember Jennifer Reynolds, Councilmember Amanda Mays Bledsoe, Councilmember Whitney Elliott Baxter, Councilmember Hannah Legree. Have I left anyone out?
That's it.
No. Small but mighty. So this is a very important day for our city. Someday, people may look back and remember that on July 8th, 2021, we began a process that led to once-in-a-lifetime opportunities for our community. Lexington expects to receive $120 million over 2 years from the American Rescue Plan Act funding. It is money to help us heal from COVID-19. It is money that can have a significant and lasting impact on our city. It is money that can help our city soar into a brighter future. As leaders, we all know how important it is for us to make wise choices. And today, I'm here to report that our decision-making process is off to a strong start. The council and the administration have worked together for several weeks to craft a transparent process that starts with extensive public input through an online survey, public meetings, and appearances at neighborhood gatherings through all the districts. I am planning town halls in July and August. This is a transparent process, a public process, a process that invites everyone to participate. Notice that I said the council and the administration have worked together. Vice Mayor, I'm really proud of that. There are plenty of cities where this kind of cooperation doesn't exist in government. But we all know that's not how we do things in Lexington. We work together. We strive to involve people who live here in the decisions we make. So starting at 2 o'clock today, the process begins. The online survey goes live, and we begin several weeks of activities designed to gather public opinion on use of these monies. Vice Mayor, I want to thank you and all of our council members. We all recognized early on that we're in this together, the mayor, the council members, the community. We're working together to help Lexington become all it can be. And so now I want to invite Vice Mayor Kay to the podium to hear his thoughts. Thank you.
First, thank you, Mayor. And on behalf of the council, let me express our thanks to the mayor and everybody in the administration who has worked to make sure that this process gets off to a good start. Council will need the full backing and support of the administration as we evaluate and make decisions about the best use of these funds. I also want to give a shout out to Councilmember Bledsoe and Councilmember Ellinger, the chair and the vice chair of the Budget Committee, who helped work through many of these details. So Council has been interested in a public engagement process that would produce the full range of possible projects for our consideration so that we can compare and evaluate the ideas against one another on their merits. We expect, this is an understatement, we expect many worthwhile projects to be proposed, and we know our task will be challenging. So to inform our community, to focus the community conversation, and to be clear about the principles we would follow in making our decisions, We worked together, first in 3 council retreats, and then together with the administration on a description of categories for possible projects and a set of priorities and principles for funding. So for anybody thinking about a project, these principles should help you understand how competitive your proposal will be. So the top priority are projects that would have a direct impact on vulnerable populations and projects that would help people most severely affected by the pandemic. Next, projects that are budget-related, those that produce savings or increased revenue and are one-time projects that have no ongoing costs. So here, we are looking to the long-term fiscal health of our community and being careful with these projects not to increase pressures on our ongoing budget. In sum, I'm sorry, I skipped one part. Finally, listed as additional principles are projects that lead to economic opportunity and projects that have a positive impact on our social and physical infrastructure. So in sum, we have put together a process that we believe gives everybody an opportunity to participate. Now, we're calling on the community to bring us your ideas. This is about our city and our future. We need to hear from you, and we expect we will. So again, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Vice Mayor Kay. Now, at this time, the Vice Mayor and I are ready and willing to answer questions, right? Are there any questions?
So after the surveys come back, what's the next step in the process? And is there a firm deadline on when you guys need to start committing dollars? I understand there is some deadlines tied to at least expenditure of these funds.
So all of the funds need to be dedicated by the end of 2024. They all need to be spent by the end of 2026. So there is a little bit of time. And of course, we expect some of the projects will take time to implement. And so we're really grateful for that time. When people go on the website and they'll go to lexingtonky.gov, the timeline will be on there. And we do have, I believe the time for public input ends August 27th for the survey. And so it's a good long, 6 or 7 weeks for the public to weigh in. And the Vice Mayor might want to talk about some of the other ways that we've discussed for people to have input in their neighborhoods and things like that.
Yes, thank you. So we expect a full range of opportunities for people to participate in this initial process. And I think a part of your question really had to do with once we get all of these ideas, what's next? We're committed to continue to have this be an open process, and we anticipate at the very least, some committee of the whole meetings where we will begin the process of sorting and vetting the various projects, narrowing down, and beginning to think about how we're going to make our decisions.
So we vote on those final projects?
Eventually. So the way the process always works in terms of anything related to the budget is that any proposal will be voted up or down, and it takes a majority of council, 8 votes, to approve any project. And we will be following that process. I expect we will not be voting in the early stages as we do some sorting, but we might.
What about people who don't have internet access and want to take this survey?
Well, we will have paper copies available throughout the community at community centers, at the library, at many different locations so that people can pick them up. We'll have some places where people can get help filling them out. And I did want to say, back to the process, one of the first things that will occur is just adding to what the Vice Mayor said. We will have a core group within government which will involve some council staff as well as administrative staff to vet through and be sure they fit the guidelines and the rules first.
Do you have an idea of where you want some of the funds to go to interact, because you interact with people all the time, where it could be placed?
Well, I won't speak for the council, but I'll say for myself, I've already heard from lots of people who have lots of ideas. I think we'll get, I would say hundreds, we might get thousands of ideas. And, you know, there are a lot of good ideas floating out there, and a lot of groups in town have ideas. There will be opportunity for everybody to submit their ideas, whether they're an individual or a group or a club or a, you know, whatever. So we really haven't crafted a list yet. We want to hear from the public.
What are some of the federal requirements for the projects?
Well, of course, the Vice Mayor spoke to the general requirements, and the very first thing, the reason this money was given was to help people who've been negatively impacted by COVID. That is the overarching theme of the federal government's rules, if you will, is to have cities put money in places where it will help people who were impacted by COVID. And let's face it, almost everybody was, but in different ways, you know. So then the Vice Mayor spoke to, and may want to reiterate, the kind of guidelines that we've crafted together. We put some finer points on it.
Well, I'll just kind of, for a point of emphasis, when we say people who've been most impacted by COVID, what we understand both nationally, statewide, and locally is that disproportionately that has been people who are vulnerable generally. And so this money is meant to make an impact on those people who've been most negatively impacted.
What else? Other questions?
What do you all find the most interesting or exciting aspect of including the community in this process?
Oh, wow. Well, I think I'll just say mine and then you can say yours. The most interesting is we have no idea what kind of ideas we'll get. We could have things that at first blush seem like, whoa, wait a minute. And then we vet through them and think about them, and they could be the most awesome, most impactful project we could ever do. That's what we're hoping, is for long-term impact.
Yeah. I would just kind of reiterate what the mayor said. This is a fairly substantial amount of money. It's $120 million. Our annual budget is now close to $400 million, but this is a significant amount of money. It has the potential to be transformative. And what's exciting from my perspective, I'll speak for myself, is exactly what the mayor said also, and that is to see what this community can come up with that will really inspire and make a difference in the long run, and just make a huge difference for our community.
And one of the things I might add is that we have had conversations together about the workings of this. We will have to, the administration will have to do lots of reporting back to the federal government. Every single thing we're doing with this money has to be reported back. And so we are hopeful that we have some large, as the Vice Mayor said, transformative projects, that we don't have 1,000 $100 projects because, there are a lot of needs in the community, in the neighborhoods. And we think we'll have funds in other places to address some of those smaller needs. And so we're looking for some, real, not necessarily expensive, but not the $100, $1,000, $5,000 projects. We think we can find money for a lot of those other places. Other places where it doesn't have to be the federal government reporting and all of the rules that we will have to follow in spending that money.
One other question. Have the dates for the public hearings been announced yet?
No.
I didn't.
Have the dates for public hearings been announced? No. And in fact, I expect there will be lots of town halls and council members will want to host things in their district. And it's going to be a great time for the public to have input. But dates are not quite yet announced. They'll be between now and the end of August, I would say. So you'll hear more later. Anything else? Thank you all for being here.
Thank you.